While Val Kilmer became a worldwide sensation with Top Gun, Iceman remains a beloved figure. While Kilmer may appear to have it all when he plays a role on screen, moviegoers may be unaware of the tragedy that has occurred in his life and the early beginning of his run of bad luck. Val Kilmer is one actor who has an abundance of difficult material from his own life to work with. Watch as we explore Val Kilmer's tragic life story. He never really recovered from the divorce of his parents. But before starting this video, please hit the subscribe button for more informative video. Val Kilmer was reared by both parents until he was 9 years old, together with his two brothers, one of whom was a year younger than Val. An important turning point occurred in 1968 when the Kilmers decided to get a divorce. The three brothers then discovered that their father was taking care of them. Val was deeply affected by the divorce's aftermath. He never fully recovered from the emotional turmoil and was unable to handle the split in a healthy way during his early years. Even though Val lived with his father, he was becoming more and more aloof and occasionally hopeless. Looking back on this time, he said, "I was quiet, more introspective than gregarious, and my relationship with my father wasn't good for a long time." When Val Kilmer's father passed away in the middle of the 1990s, the divorce's aftereffects were apparent once more. For Val and his older brother Mark, this incident set off a turbulent era that resulted in major arguments as they worked through the difficulties of resolving their late father's estate. Curiously, not long after Val's parents parted ways, a benefit of the divorce became apparent. To help him deal with the difficulties in his everyday life, Val took a deep interest in theatrical. His desire to pursue this new interest led him to take acting lessons, which provided him with a possible way out of his problems. At the juvenile age of 12, Val Kilmer began facing hurdles in the realm of acting. Examining Val Kilmer's early acting setbacks reveals a story that begins in his preteen years. Kilmer spoke openly about the causes of his creative struggles in a 1999 At First Sight interview that was eventually posted on YouTube. Kil was presented with a turning point in his developing acting career at the age of 12. Kilmer's first attempt at acting didn't turn out as successful as expected. If you are enjoying this video, I will again request you to subscribe to my channel for more informative and interesting videos. The actor talked about his first audition and said he didn't get the job because he couldn't commit to it completely, not because he wasn't skilled enough. One of the most notable aspects of Kilmer's method acting style was his battle with commitment, which was highlighted in an event involving a hamburger commercial. Kilmer, then just 12 years old, was working on a hamburger ad, a seemingly unimportant job for a budding actor. But even at this early point, his dedication to his profession was paramount. Kilmer bravely decided to leave the set because he didn't really think the burgers his character was supposed to promote were any good. For Kilmer, giving an authentic portrayal was hampered by his inability to truly relate to the motivations of his character. Kilmer was young, but he had taken drama classes for a few years, so he had a foundation to help him deal with the complexity of the acting business. Even so, equipped with this understanding and a growing sense of self as an actor, Kilmer couldn't get the part of the child in the burger commercial. One of the biggest turning points in Val Kilmer's acting career was his brother's unexpected death. It began on a positive note, accompanied by a momentous occasion in his life. Kilmer accomplished a remarkable feat at the age of 16, when he was accepted into New York's esteemed Juilliard School of Acting. Kilmer's feat was made even more significant by the impressive roster of Juilliard alumni, which included Robin Williams, Kelsey Grammer, Miles Davis, and Christopher Reeve. But just as Kilmer was about to embark on this life-changing chapter, a horrible incident happened to change his trajectory. Wesley, Kilmer's younger brother and Val's year younger, was a budding director who had a significant impact on his life. Val had a great deal of respect for Wesley, even though he was classed as epileptic. Kilmer told the New York Times that he thought his brother was a brilliant artist who would go on to become a great filmmaker like another Steven Spielberg or George Lucas. On the eve of Val's admission to Juilliard, tragedy struck when Wesley suffered a catastrophic epileptic fit, a brain electrical storm that can cause the body to go comatose. This tragic affair came to an end when Wesley perished after falling into the family's swimming pool. Kilmer told The Times, "I didn't really get back to Earth until about 2 or 3 years after my brother died. He was clearly devastated by this terrible loss. He compared his experience to the Nickelback song, "I'm sick of sight without the sense of feeling," which is an unusually non-ironic way of expressing his feelings. Kilmer shared a moving picture of himself and his brothers Mark and Wesley on social media in 2019 during a period of introspection. The caption read, "Me and my perfect brothers Mark and Wesley." This article is proof of the lasting value and significant influence of family ties. Even as Val pursued an acting career, Wesley continued to have an influence on his life. Val Kilmer was ripped apart by his passions. In a 2004 interview with The Telegraph, Val Kilmer said, "I'm a character actor, but I look like a leading man." Kilmer was the perfect candidate to play the wounded but alluring Jim Morrison in Oliver Stone's 1991 film The Doors because of his contrasted appearance and attitude. The story explores Morrison's rise to fame as a rock singer and his quick decline into drug addiction, which led to his premature death at the age of 27. Kilmer's portrayal of the Doors' tormented troubadour won praise, but during turbulent times on production, where disagreements with Stone about the direction of the movie transpired, his reputation as a diva solidified. He speaks in a way that is propelled from deep inside, and he doesn't always realize how the things he says will sound to other people. Stone said in a tactful description of Kilmer's communication style, "Kilmer's steadfast devotion to his profession occasionally caused tense relationships with co-stars," as he revealed in a 2005 interview with Esquire. Actress Caitlin O'Hyan, who participated in the Doors audition process, claimed that Kilmer physically attacked her during an uncontrollably violent audition. "When I got to the room, Val Kilmer pulled me up and shook me, throwing me to the floor," O'Hyan said, recounting the event to BuzzFeed News in 2017. O'Hyan filed a preliminary police report for battery as a result, and a $4,500 settlement was reached. It was discovered that O'Hyan, Stone, and Kilmer had a confidentiality agreement that prohibited them from sharing the accusations. But Risa Brahman Garcia, the movie's casting director, who was there when it happened, disagreed with O'Hyan's account, saying it was exaggerated. Val Kilmer's union ended tragically when Val Kilmer met actress Joanne Whalley on the set of the Ron Howard-directed action-adventure film Willow, which was released in 1988. His romantic journey took a different course. Their shared workspace developed into a romantic relationship that resulted in marriage. They brought 2 children into the world together, a son named Jack and a daughter named Mercedes. Unfortunately, this love tale ended bitterly and was unable to endure the test of time. The couple's marriage failed, and there was animosity during their 1996 divorce. According to reports, Whalley suspected Kilmer of being unfaithful, and there were hints that during the turbulent time of his marriage to Whalley, Kilmer may have had an affair with famed supermodel Cindy Crawford. The marriage finally ended, and their connection went public. Later, when Kilmer thought back on the breakdown of his marriage, he blamed his unshakable dedication to the character of Jim Morrison in The Doors for some of the stress. Kilmer took to method acting, giving the role his all attention and spending a good portion of a year basically living the damaged rocker's life. His marriage was strained partly because of his unwavering devotion to his craft. When Whalley issued Kilmer with divorce papers while he was working on the John Frankenheimer-directed film The Island of Dr. Moreau, the divorce procedures took an unexpected turn. Their marriage's problems gained them celebrity in Hollywood, and Frankenheimer openly voiced his displeasure. He even declared, "I will never work with Val Kilmer again, and I will never climb Mount Everest. The world isn't filled with enough money." Not just John Frankenheimer expressed his open dislike of working with Val Kilmer. Kilmer had developed a reputation as one of the trickiest actors in the whole American film business, by a wide margin. An item titled "Val Kilmer Makes Enemies in Hollywood" appeared in Entertainment Weekly in 1996. The piece included the statement, "Many in Hollywood would are loath to work with him, no matter how big the box office payback." It's important to remember that Kilmer had already made a lasting impression on the big screen by 1996. His legendary portrayal of Iceman in Top Gun, his incarnation of Doc Holliday in Tombstone, his roles as Batman in Batman Forever, his eminent performances as Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in Heat, and his portrayal of Batman in Batman Forever had all cemented his reputation as a highly sought-after actor. Even with the critical and economic success, Kilmer's image as a difficult guy to work with started to eclipse his achievements. Kilmer's sincere desire to give a project his utmost effort was the paradox, but this relentless commitment frequently led to interpersonal problems off-screen. According to IndieWire, Kilmer freely acknowledges, "I have behaved poorly," in the documentary Val, which offers an insight into his tumultuous background. If you still didn't subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. I've acted courageously, strange to some people. He continues, characterizing himself as a smart, sensitive human being with the soul of a clown. Val Kilmer's ranch was destroyed by the 2008 financial crisis. Midway through his successful career in the 1990s, with hits like Heat and Batman Forever, Val Kilmer made a big real estate investment that would turn out to be bittersweet. The actor acquired a sizable estate in San Miguel County, New Mexico, which included more than 5,000 acres. This large ranch, formerly owned by the Forked Lightning family, featured a 6-mile stretch along the Pecos River, plenty of space for animal grazing, and a variety of buildings, including cottages and houses. Kilmer also dabbled in hospitality, running a bed and breakfast on the property for a while. Although getting permission for this kind of use was difficult when he made derogatory remarks about the local populace, Kilmer's financial problems started to show in 2006. This was the same time that it was discovered he owed the IRS $500,000 in overdue taxes. To alleviate his financial difficulties, Kilmer first tried to sell a 1,800-acre portion of the ranch for $18 million. After this failed, he listed a smaller 1,000-acre parcel with 3 guest houses for sale. After a few months, the $12 million asking price was lowered to $9 million. Finally, in 2011, Kilmer sold off 528 acres of his beloved ranch for $18.5 million, deciding to give up a significant chunk of his beloved property. Notably, he had originally sought $33 million for the majority of the land. Kilmer's relationship with the land, which he had previously regarded as his own little piece of paradise, underwent a dramatic change after the sale, leaving him with just 14 acres of the formerly vast estate. He struggled for a long time with weight growth. Once the picture of physical perfection as Iceman in 1986 and elegantly slender as Jim Morrison in 1991, Val Kilmer saw a remarkable change at the end of the 2000s. As he struggled with middle-aged weight gain and an unfit frame, tabloids and newspapers in particular weren't hesitant about harshly exposing this change. The Daily Mail published a headline in 2007 that said, "Val Kilmer goes from Batman to Fat Man," perfectly encapsulating the insensitivity. Where a six-pack formerly rippled on Val Kilmer's chest now stands what appears more like a rather enormous beer belly was one of the disparaging statements in the accompanying article. It was an infantile and demeaning portrayal. But in the years that followed, Kilmer set out on a quest to regain his physical well-being. According to reports from Yahoo Entertainment, he started this change by taking regular walks on the beach near his house in Malibu, California, and changing his diet. His efforts paid off, and he was able to successfully lose weight by the middle of the following 10 years. Still, the media, as usual, was unable to resist poking fun at the situation. Viewed from a different angle, the Daily Mail published a headline in December 2014 that said, "Gaunt Val Kilmer reveals dramatically shrinking frame while shopping at Levis in Malibu." These critical remarks transpired in the context of a 55-year-old man who had successfully returned to a more manageable weight. Val Kilmer has experienced both beginnings and endings in his relationships. A topic that first surfaced in his early years when he was still figuring out middle school was his parents' divorce. When Kilmer got into a relationship with a famous chair in the 1980s, the tides of love continued to rise and fall. Kilmer, who was on the verge of becoming famous at the time, wrote in his memoir, "I'm Your Huckleberry," that despite Cher's established celebrity and their 13-year age difference, once Cher works her way inside your head and heart, she never leaves. Her unwavering love and loyalty never fade for her close pals. After Joanne Whalley, the mother of his children, and Kilmer's marriage ended, Kilmer became involved with model Cindy Crawford, adding another romantic chapter to his past. That brief relationship Kilmer had with actress Daryl Hannah, though, will always have a special place in his heart. During the 2001 filming of a movie, their relationship grew closer, and they even visited Kilmer's ranch in New Mexico. He revealed the intensity of his personal suffering in his book, writing, "Daryl was by far the most painful of all the heartaches I've had. Lord knows I've suffered heartache. I'm afraid that although I've always liked you, Neil Young, I now despise you." This statement highlighted the long-lasting effects of their breakup on Kilmer's mental landscape by mentioning Hannah's future marriage to the famed musician in 2018. Val Kilmer was diagnosed with cancer and faced a philosophical dilemma. Kilmer's life had been a combination of luck and bad luck, frequently influenced by his own decisions. As he stated in an interview with the New York Times, "God wants us to walk, but the devil sends a limo." This viewpoint is consistent with his philosophical viewpoint, but Kilmer faced a different kind of obstacle in 2014. During a stage play tour, he started having trouble swallowing. He was staying in Cher's guest house at the time when an astonishing incident happened. "Suddenly, I awoke vomiting blood that covered the bed like a scene out of The Godfather," remembers Kilmer of a previous occurrence in his biography. He talks about an episode where his vision went blurry, his vitality was depleted, and blood was streaming down his body. At this point, the story becomes a little unclear since Kilmer disputes the standard doctor's diagnosis of throat cancer. His spiritual counselor advised him to pray his fear gone. This rejection of traditional medical advice was partly due to Kilmer's commitment to Christian Science. But his health was failing quickly, and he found himself torn between his faith in heavenly healing and his children Jack and Mercedes' cries for more concrete medical treatments. Kilmer, who was notorious for his stubbornness, was forced to make a decision that would have a significant impact on his own survival in the face of their passionate pleas. After a while, Val Kilmer gave in to his kids' worries, even though none of them practiced Christian Science. "I would have had to go away, and I just didn't want to be without them," he told the New York Times, explaining that he didn't want to expose his kids to the intense dread they would feel. Kilmer had surgery on his malfunctioning vocal instrument in 2014. He described the severity of the treatment, which included rounds of chemotherapy and radiation after the surgery. "It was said of him that the physicians zapped my whole throat, leaving it dry as a bone. He developed shortness of breath after the procedure, which made him dependent on a tracheostomy tube and required the use of a feeding tube." Kilmer's trademark loud baritone has become little more than a rasp. In I'm Your Huckleberry, Kilmer bemoaned the dramatic impact of losing his voice command, saying, "Speaking, once my joy and lifeblood, has become an hourly struggle." As The Hollywood Reporter reported, "I no longer have control over the instrument that I was completely proficient at." The unfavorable course of events was further complicated by the catastrophic accident that Mercedes, Kilmer's daughter, suffered. She was struck by a car and left with a scar that extended the length of her leg. She also ended up in the hospital with her father. As he attended to their bedsides, Jack Kilmer's son was profoundly impacted. He conveyed his anguish to the media, saying, "I was just, miserable, distraught, sitting next to these two. He nearly died from throat cancer, which also took away his voice." The world is now well aware of Val Kilmer's valiant fight against terminal throat cancer, a terrifying ordeal that not only put his life in danger, but also took away his unique and recognizable voice, which was essential to his persona, particularly for parts like Jim Morrison in The Doors. The Orlando Sentinel reported in 2017 that Kilmer's singing abilities in the movie were a major factor in landing the role of Morrison. Kilmer officially acknowledged his successful fight against cancer at a Reddit Ask Me Anything session with the intriguing term healing of cancer. The truth of this recovery story was that she had to endure chemotherapy and 2 tracheotomies in the course of 2 years, starting in 2015. Parade claims that these procedures highlight how intrusive and demanding Kilmer's battle was, highlighting the gravity of the cancer he had to overcome. Kilmer modestly acknowledged that he was still healing in the summer of 2021. highlighting the long-lasting effects of his valiant trek. In spite of being one of the biggest stars in Hollywood for the last 40 years, Val Kilmer's life has been characterized by an unexpected loneliness. As he disclosed in his book, I'm Your Huckleberry, People claims that Kilmer admits to having daily feelings of loneliness. Kilmer's admission, a moving one, that he hasn't had a girlfriend in 20 years makes him feel even more alone. This absence of a love relationship became especially poignant throughout his cancer battle, when having a close partner's support may have made a big difference. Even yet, the actor took comfort in forging closer bonds with his kids during this difficult time, and they were instrumental in the making of the documentary Val, which provided a closer look at his life and challenges. Val Kilmer's career in film has been a patchwork of many experiences, from exuberant moments to profound discontent with specific endeavors. Kilmer's performance as Jim Morrison in The Doors is regarded as the apex of his acting career. He won praise for his flawless interpretation of the tragic rock star. Kilmer reflected on this accomplishment and shared how much he loved working on the movie Heat in a Reddit Ask Me Anything session. He spoke movingly of valuable experiences like being greeted like an elder brother in downtown Los Angeles by Al Pacino and having silent laughter with Robert De Niro. The encounter went as far as practicing lines under the sound of powerful assault rifle fire and kissing Ashley Judd. Kilmer's cinematic voyage wasn't without difficulties either. His feelings about Batman Forever showed a sharp difference, as he compared himself to a puppet dressed as a bat and detested the experience. Kilmer's dissatisfaction with the part was reported by the British tabloid The Daily Mail. Comparably, in his autobiography, I'm Your Huckleberry, he acknowledged that he first detested the role of Iceman from Top Gun, calling the script ridiculous and trying to ruin his audition, only to be taken aback when he was cast. Kilmer's contradictory opinions about these movies highlight the nuanced relationship that exists between an actor and the parts that shaped their career. The unique documentary Val, which offers a close-up look at the life and career of one of Hollywood's most unpredictable actors, was released by Amazon Studios in 2021. A clear image is painted by the film's description. Val Kilmer, one of Hollywood's most unpredictable actors, has been using film to capture his life and skills. From home videos he made with his brothers to time spent playing famous roles in big-budget blockbusters like Top Gun and Batman, he has accumulated thousands of hours of footage. This unvarnished and incredibly creative documentary offers a heartfelt look at what it means to be an artist and exposes a life lived to the fullest. The combination of both public and private film in Val gives viewers a rare opportunity to see Kilmer's life from a variety of angles. The documentary appears to use a first-person narrative that is quite similar too. But then there's a tragic turn in Val Kilmer's voice, showing that the person speaking is actually Kilmer's son Jack. This information deepens the narrative and serves as evidence of the effects of Kilmer's cancer struggle, which caused him to lose his unique voice. Jack and his sister Mercedes were essential players in the staging of Val. Not only were they the topic of the documentary, but they also actively took part in going through almost 800 hours of their father's film. They not only helped create the movie, but they also had significant parts in the documentary itself, contributing their own insights into Kilmer's life. Their efforts to promote the movie demonstrate how devoted a family is to maintaining and extending their well-known father's memory. In order to help us out, kindly hit the like button on this video and watch one of our most recent videos by clicking this link. Furthermore, there will soon be even more videos on your favorite celebrities. To ensure you don't miss a single one, don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bye until the next time.